what I want to say to everyone listening to this podcast. Don't start with OKRs before you have a strategy. The rule of thumb is you cannot promise delivery of specific features, especially for a long term. Think carefully which artifacts you put on your roadmap and in which detail level.
Today my guest is Victoria Scheer, an accomplished product and operations manager with extensive experience in Germany's companies and startups. She is deeply engaged in the product and strategy community, eager to discuss leadership, product development, and operations. Welcome to Productized. So, welcome to the podcast, Victoria. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Margarita.
Looking forward to our conversation today, which promised to be very interesting. So, Victoria, could you please give us an overview of your background as a product manager?
Sure. So for the last 10 years, most of the time I was having product manager roles, leading product teams in different areas. I started my career in energy business, in energy sector, specifically in the gas trading. Which is quite specific niche, and then I moved into FMCG, mostly focusing on marketing and marketing automation. And the last a bit more than 2 years, I work now at Aldi at retail, where I'm not working as a product manager anymore, but I'm working as a product transformation lead. So I'm trying to establish proper strategy and operation processes to actually help product managers, my former peers, to leave the role and to actually, I would say, in the end, to bring more value to the organization, but also to enjoy the work they're doing more.
Okay, it sounds like you are a bit of a coach there.
Well, of course, coaching is always a part of change management, but I would say more I am responsible for designing the proper artifacts and structures on how actually things should be. And then, of course, bringing it to the organization where I have a support of other colleagues.
Okay, I'm not sure if you are able to give me this information, but what is where does Aldi comes from and where do they want to get? So what's the kind of transformation that you are leading there?
So Aldi historically is international company which was founded in Germany. So I work exactly in the headquarters, and it has a lot of heritage. And the structure of Aldi is also quite complex because we are serving 11 countries. And of course, we already have certain standing on the market. We are fifth biggest food retailer in the world. So we have certain reputation and certain market share already. And what we want to improve is the way we work. And the whole transformation, which is actually quite a big thing right now at Aldi, it's one of the key priorities currently to implement our program in the whole IT area. The goal is actually to change some ways of working, because Aldi I see it like this, it was developing historically, and also historically IT department was not really big. And then it started to grow, while business departments, what I call business our country management, already, of course, was much more mature. And now we are trying to establish certain ways of working to support our business better, while also owning more decisions. And this is, of course, a big part of the change.
Okay. Correct. Understood. And I heard this interesting story about Aldi that you work for Aldi Sud, and there is Aldi North. What is, like, in my head it was only one Aldi, but there are two, right? What do you know the story behind this?
I know the story because I read the story. It's not like everyone talks about the story, to be honest. Both companies are founded by the brothers. at some point they were working together on one company, and then there were some differences in how they wanted to manage the work, and then they decided to split. And then, being fair, they just splitted the geographically, just splitted the areas where each company would be working. And the only country where both companies are present is, of course, Germany, as the main country, as a like historically first country as well, and also in the US, where Aldi North is active with a Trader Joe brand, while Aldi Süd is then operating under Aldi umbrella. Yeah, and it's actually quite funny, because especially where I live in Düsseldorf, and the border between two Aldis is quite close there. So you can go
Okay.
from one city to another, and Aldi would look kind of similar, but not exactly the same anymore because you entered Aldi North area.
Oh, so you experience as a client like differences, because
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I would say, of course, even the logo is different. So you would see that the brand is a bit different. Some products are similar, some products are not similar, but yeah.
Okay.
This is
Interesting.
this is a
Funny
story,
story.
yeah. But we
Yeah.
collaborate a lot as well with together.
Yeah. Um, so, Victoria, you speak a lot about building product strategies with OKRs, but I would like to start in the beginning. So, for people that are listening to this and they are asking whether they work in a product-led or a feature factory organization teams, what are the key distinctions between these two organizational types?
So maybe just doing one step back,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, let's be honest. There are certain roles which sometimes have like strange reputation, right? And I think, especially coming from a product world, agile coach might be one of those. OKRs as a framework might be one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be an advocate who would say, yeah, don't be feature factory, be this, use a lot of buzzwords and saying this is how it should be and you are not like this. Let's change. I'm always taking a more practical approach. As well, I guess because I was product manager for so many years and I saw a lot of different constellations and a lot of different challenges I experienced, I saw that not all of these challenges as a product manager I can solve. Of course, I can solve challenges with my product. I can influence my KPIs. I can change certain features, of course. But being also part of a big organization, I couldn't change overall the strategy and also how it all comes together. And especially what I couldn't change is collaboration with different teams and with different stakeholder manager groups. So it was kind of set by others in my organization. I had to follow it. And I see myself as a person who tries to set up those systems around the product team the way that actually benefits. So I don't want to like say, don't be feature factory, be product team. These are attributes of this, these are attributes of this. What I'm being an advocate of, try to analyze exactly the problem. So, because I speak product management language, product manager first finds a problem in the product and then they try to solve it. They don't come with solution and trying to fit solution somewhere. That's how I sometimes experience some agile coaches coming with saying, okay, let's implement safe. Let's just put safe there. So that's why for me, some teams can stay feature teams, which meaning, answering your question, they develop what they asked to develop. And the key that they are trying to optimize is their deliveries. So time to market, that they deliver fast and good quality, with good customer satisfaction and so on. And by customer, I mean the ones who request the features from them. This is a feature factory. Um, of course, if we talk about product team, it's a bit different. Product team are optimizing not time to market, but time to money, because in the end, product team owns the value that the product delivers. And if I don't decide as a product manager on what I build, I cannot own the value because this was not my decision. That's what a lot of happens in big companies like Henkel, Aldi, and so on. If there is some business counterpart and then the product maybe doesn't work, it works system wise, but it doesn't bring the value. You're saying it's not my problem. I was just responsible for the technical delivery. And then this is the problem which I think can be solved by creating product teams if systems around allow it to be a proper product team.
Correct. So, if I understand what you are saying is that there are situations in that having a feature team is desirable. It's an outcome that you want to achieve, and there are situations where you want a product-led organization.
Exactly.
Correct. So, in what in what stages do you want one and the other?
So, do you want your product team to decide on what is being built? Do you want to just tell your team, okay, we want to enter a new market with our online shop proposition? So we want to sell our products online and we want to, of course, be profitable there, figure out how to do it. Or do you know actually what exactly you want? You just say, and if you, and by you I mean, of course, the leadership of the company, or maybe so the one who actually in the end pays for all of it. Do you want someone else to decide what is being built, or you already know? That's why if you talk about, let's say, of course, some legal products, it's like always the easiest example, right? The law is already there. Or if you talk about some very organized processes which are there for ages, let's say following up some ERP solution, which you just want to maybe then roll out to your other business unit, or maybe you exactly have experts who did it already 1,000 times in other companies and they know exactly what needs to be done. They just need it to be done. You don't need agile. Agile means also agile is together with product team. Product management and agile needs if you are uncertain what needs to be built. You know what you want to achieve in terms of the value, but you don't know what needs to be built. And this is the only reason why you would develop in agile way overall. So what I see, this is really funny, what I see a lot that companies are trying to follow cargo cult, saying, okay, everyone does Scrum, I do Scrum, then they do Scrum, but the business counterpart says, well, until the product is ready, it doesn't even make sense for me to look at it because I want it to be ready. Okay, I can come to your review, to your sprint review, say, yeah, looks good, but I don't know, I need it to be done. And then teams in Scrum deliver like for 1 year some new module of the system and it's not being tested or used before. Like, I mean, maybe in delivery there is some certain aspects which help that you doing Scrum, maybe, but it's not agile and it's not proper Scrum. And of course, it might be doing it, but it's not a product team.
Exactly. Exactly. So, in that situations, you would be the person to lead the transformation into a product-led organization, product-led team.
So if our leadership decides that that's not what we want and we actually want to give more freedom and empowerment to our teams, I would be the one who try to create systems around the team to make sure that they actually can proper do it and not just call themselves a product team.
Okay. So let's say that we are in the situation that the leadership wants to transition to a product-led organization, and you are called to do that transformation. What steps can be taken to into the direction of that desired outcome of a product-led team?
Well, of course, first it's understanding what challenges are we tackling, like what is the motivation for the change, and what do we want to achieve with it. And then, of course, we would see what could be the first, like low-hanging fruits, and where we can go from there. From looking from experience, there are certain aspects in organization that organization need to have in order to become product organization. First of all, and I can't say it enough, is a proper strategy. Proper strategy which is clear, which is understandable by everyone, which is shared with people, um, and which is being followed. If there is no direction of a company, then there is no direction for the product teams. So start there. Then, of course, we are talking about data-driven decision making. So it means that you need to have certain data capabilities, of course, in the organization. And then it comes from there. You have some data, you have a strategy, and then how do you coordinate and connect the strategy to your execution through, of course, different processes. And this is what I'm also working on, to see how actually in the end teams can translate the strategy into their own goals and how they can align with other teams and also with management to be able to deliver the best time to money they can possibly can. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So for you, it's essential to understand the motivations from the leadership team and the mission or the vision of the company. So, and a guarantee that everyone is in the same level there. Um, so how do OKRs enter in the game to bring this approach to life?
Well, OKR is one of the framework, and I think it's good because it sounds simple. In reality, it's not simple at all, because there is no literature which covers all aspects of OKRs. Like, show me the book which tells you how to connect, for example, OKR with your budget planning, or how to connect OKR with your proper portfolio management, or how to write proper strategy, like how to actually come up with those OKRs. They just say, yeah, you come and you decide on your main priorities, but how do you decide on your main priorities? This is a trick, right? But so what I want to say is that there are a lot of things around OKRs to actually make it work properly. But OKRs is like, I would say OKR is like a communication tool. OKRs help to translate your goals as a team, but also your goals as a company, into something clear, tangible, something which teams can kind of align to. And it's not too output driven, meaning that it still gives some freedom to teams to actually decide how they can achieve those goals and what would be like their own contribution to it. This is
Yeah,
what I like about this format being outcome driven versus output.
yeah. It's like a north star for the teams, let's say, to see how they are going in their progress.
Well, it's stars on different level, stars on different level. I would call it like this, because there's not just one OKR, and they're not just on the top level, but definitely OKRs show the direction and also help you to measure the progress.
Correct. Okay. So that OKRs would come when you already have a strategy in place.
OKRs would come when you have a strategy. Yes, and that is what I want to say to everyone listening to this podcast. Don't start with OKRs before you have a strategy.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's important. So, and now, so I feel like we are missing a step here. So we talk about like the company strategy and the vision, then OKRs, but there is the strategy pillar that is in the between, which needs to be defined. The So I would say there is the company wants to achieve something and they already know what they want to achieve or the world that they want to create. And how do we actually do that? Correct. So how do you help company defining the strategy?
Well, it might sound simple, but what I'm trying to help with, because I don't want to see myself as a strategy expert who can actually write a strategy for every organization, because I cannot. It's a teamwork, and there is, of course, need of a lot of like area knowledge, and of course like finance experts and so on. But what I am trying to bring to the table is kind of, first of all, a structure, right? What strategy should look like. There is no one standard in the world which tells you this is a strategy. And I'm trying to work with currently at Aldi to see how actually we can formulate our strategy. What should be the main information which needs to be there to make it clear, relatable, and not be put on 100 PowerPoint slides, right?
Yes.
So this is the first point, to understanding what are the key pillars of the strategy. Then, of course, you would need to connect your strategy to your prioritization, to your what you call North Star, OKRs, and so on. Is it understandable and translatable into actually specific goals? This would be another point. How in the end it can be passed to the teams? Like, is it enough information? What other information they might need, in which format, and so on? How do I make sure that this is a real strategy? With whom do I need to align it? How do I make sure that it's good? How do I adapt it if it's maybe we started it and we feel that strategy is not really working? How do I actually do it on the goal so that I stop at a proper time and not just spend all my time delivering something which doesn't work, which actually what Agile tells you, right? You do iterations to be sure to check and learn fast.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we have covered company's vision, strategy, OKRs that comes from directly from strategy, and then you need to derive a roadmap. We think that you will actually start building and deliver. So from there on, like we are on this journey and we are on the final part. How do teams then start crafting a roadmap from this? So I would say like your team would deliver the strategy and the OKRs to the product teams, devs, and then they need to start crafting the roadmap. How should they do this?
So there are roadmaps, of course, on different level. So there is team roadmap, of course, but there is overall maybe department roadmap, and overall you might bring all this together in one overarching roadmap. Roadmaps can also have different lifetime. They might be like just for the next 3 months. Of course, for the next year or for the next strategy cycle can be also a roadmap. So I think first you need to understand that there are different levels, and you cannot the rule of thumb is you cannot promise delivery of specific features, especially for a long term. You cannot just place all your features for next year and think that's what I want to deliver. That's why the best solution I see there is to do outcome-driven roadmaps, saying that I'm trying to achieve those goals and I'm trying to deliver certain features. But in the end, what I'm striving to achieve is my goals, not just delivering all the features by being a feature factor. So, and this is like to answer how to create a roadmap is think carefully which artifacts you put on your roadmap and in which detail level.
Yeah, and also we also have already guessed in the podcast that I think it was Radhika that she works a lot with hypotheses like you you know that you want to achieve a certain outcome, and you have a set of hypotheses that we will test throughout the roadmap, and then they can lead to features that we'll actually build. But first, you need to run that exercise of as I want to achieve this. I believe this will help me get there. And then think, how can I test this in the simplest way possible, or in the simplest way, but also that give me enough certainty to then make a decision out of it. So my question is, this is me just talking, but my question is, do you also see like the roadmap crafting this way?
With hypothesis on the roadmap,
Yes.
this is what I call outcomes, because your goal is to achieve certain value, and is how I know hypothesis. I'm not sure about Radhika how she meant it. You usually connect hypothesis to your certain idea you want to try implementing. You have a hypothesis that implementing those feature will drive certain results, and this is one level below. So for me, in a roadmap, you put what actually value you want to bring, but you don't know exactly what artifacts or what deliveries would help you to achieve this. And then of course you might connect some hypothesis, or we call it like potential business outcome, to each of the features you deliver, and then test actually if it goes the direction you need or not.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we we said we are aligned on this. Yeah. For me, this paints the complete picture, more or less. I would like to explore a bit more on the product leadership and how it can affect the team and the delivery. So could you please could you please explain like what is the role of the product leader in the team, in the success of the product team?
Well, product leader is responsible for success of a product team definition in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I think product leader has a lot of roles. While being responsible, of course, for the value delivery of the product, he is also responsible for making sure it all works, right? That it's, for example, that what they're doing is aligned, that delivery is like the dependencies are taken into consideration, and so on. So there are a lot of small aspects to it, all laddering up to the idea that product leader is responsible for the value that the product team delivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it a role that you have already done?
Well, I did, yeah, I think I did have the role of a product manager for 7 years. Yes, exactly, and that's what I was responsible for.
Yeah.
But since I was working mostly in a big organization, of course, there was a lot of parts of my work which were not only related on funnel value delivery, but a lot of stakeholder management and analysis and so on, because just the environment is so complex and you have so many stakeholders whose impact you need to manage, impact on
Yeah.
your product.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's not only about delivering software. It's also about managing those relations.
Yes.
Yeah.
In
What
certain companies, yes.
What are the main uh, challenges that you have faced?
As a product manager,
Yes.
well, sometimes I faced, of course, a lack of empowerment, and this is exactly what I'm trying to tackle right now with my skills and with my role in Aldi. So, and I don't mean with this that, oh, I just want to decide everything, even though sometimes it's nice, but um, I mean that if I'm responsible for the value, I need to be heard and I need to explain why I think it brings value, because I have the data, I have the product knowledge, I talk to the users, and I have a certain perspective. The question is how it, and I'm happy to get to first align it to the strategy of the company and then go into executing all of it. But there should be some clarity, and this clarity should be bi-directional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're saying there's a homework that needs to be done by leadership team.
Yes, there should be homework, and there should be some understanding of the role. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
think the challenge I experienced and the role was not clearly understood,
Mm-hmm.
because some stakeholders would, of course, assume you would prefer you to be a feature team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But of course, all of those challenges are a part of the fact that you also, the biggest challenge is to deliver value, right? This is always a challenge. This is a craft to make sure that it works. But outside of this, in a bigger corporations, the other point is also a big pain.
Yeah. Yes. And from your experience, uh, is this something that affects, so this lack of clarity is something that affects more bigger companies or smaller as well? So
I I think it affects everyone because I think startups they are sometimes growing so fast they have no time to even write a proper strategy. They maybe their top management also even doesn't know exactly how to write it because they maybe come from different background and so on. So I think since I work also a lot with product managers outside of my work, so I do some training, give some trainings and mentoring. I see that no matter where the product manager comes from, the challenges are very similar.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's actually something good. Like you can relate a lot uh, your pains to the others and learn from each other. That's how I see it with a positive light.
As long as we are heard, yes, that's what I'm trying now to make sure that this is understood and heard and taken as an important point. The
Hmm.
product operations is important point. Like you need to enable your product teams. Product team can give you so much more if you set up the process right and if you help them to deliver it, then you will give much more because you hire clever people. You
Hmm.
don't hire like AI delivery machines, right?
Yeah.
And you need to utilize it. And I think very often I see it's underutilized.
Yeah, but you touched on a very good point, which is first of all that there needs to be an understanding on what the role of a product manager is and what is a product-led organization. What are what is the differences and uh, why would you do it in the first place? And as you said in the beginning, there might be the case that you don't want it. You understand it and you don't want it, but I believe there might be a lot of cases where uncertainty it's so big regarding what you want to deliver that it's better to put the responsibility into the persons that are closer to the client and closer to the software and put their decisions the decision in their hands and the responsibility as well, the accountability, uh, versus the situation where it's a very hierarchical organization where the top management says, "We want to build this software. Go." You know.
Yeah,
So this is my view.
exactly. Yes, that's what I also think exactly.
Victoria, we are reaching to the end of our conversation. I think we reached some conclusions, and I wanted to ask you a few quick questions. So, and I don't want you to think a lot. Just said whatever pops into your mind. So, books that you would recommend, product or non-product.
I think I will not be original here. I really like Marty Kagan and his books,
Mm-hmm.
Powered, Inspired, Transformed. In terms of OKRs, I worked a lot with OKR consortium and with Ben Lamort. So this is something I could also recommend if you want to just dig deeper into OKRs topic. Other than this, I think product management is more driven by case studies and it's driven by collaboration with your peers, by going to conferences, by reading certain articles or case studies, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
also recommend doing.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so favorite application.
Uh, well, the application I use every day, all my messengers and Spotify.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
But I think I like them. I still don't understand why I have so many messengers and why there is no one which integrates them all together, which I think is a bit strange. But yeah, I think I use them and I find it quite comfortable. Whilst there is still some room for improvement, especially for Spotify, I would say.
Yeah, agree. And finally, some advice for vacation destination.
Oh, this is a big topic. I travel a lot. I just came actually from a 5 week trip to Asia.
Hmm.
I really love Southeast Asia, and I can really recommend going to Thailand. But I don't want to say just go to the beach because beach is of course beautiful there. But going to the north of Thailand, so to Chiang Mai, and then also driving up to the Burma and Laos border, and enjoying the mountains there, but also a lot of culture and of course nice food.
Yeah, sounds perfect. Well, finally, where can people find you if they want to enter in contact?
Of course. I'm on LinkedIn. Of course, they can find me, or any other contact information which you have, and then you can share. So I'm very happy to discuss um, topics related to product management, strategy, OKRs, and so on, because I'm very passionate about it, and I'm also always happy to exchange and to help others with these questions.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Victoria. It was truly delightful chatting with you today. We will be present in the Productized conference this year, so I hope to see you soon there.
Yes,
And
excited to
until
be there.
it's your first time, right?
At this conference, yes, exactly. So, and I think I will be giving a workshop, so we can just not just a presentation, but real learning experience. So I'm very
Yeah,
excited how it will go.
yeah, me too. Is your first time also in Lisbon visiting in October?
No, I think it would be like my fourth or fifth time. I'm also trying to go every year to the Web Summit, which but outside of this, I also visited several times. Lisbon is beautiful. I love Portugal.
Well, we share that same enthusiasm for Lisbon. Well, until then, Victoria, see you soon. Bye.
See you. Thank you, Margaret.